You know, the United States of America was the greatest country before Trump, and it's the greatest country now after Trump. The white supremacists want to go back. They want to go back to the days when it was legal to own slaves.
You are about to be entertained by the ape, the young man who has become a legend in his own time. You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Yours truly, Ron Kelly. Ron Kelly Talk Radio Program. Oh, September 19th already, 2024. Thank you so much for joining me. How's everybody doing? I hope you're doing okay. I mean, in this crazy world we're living in right now. So, live on Facebook, YouTube, and of course on LinkedIn. Shout out to my LinkedIn people. Well, I don't know what's going on with StreamYard today. I mean, it's been like every time I come on the air or try to come on the air, something goes terribly wrong. But anyway, thanks so much, everybody, for joining me today. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program at just about 7 minutes, a couple minutes, 2 minutes, actually past the hour of 7 o'clock on a Thursday night football a little bit later on. Jets and somebody. I mean, I'm not going to be rushing to the TV to see it, but I may take a look at it every now and then. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me, everybody. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. At just a couple minutes past the hour. A lot's going on. Did he do it? Did Diddy do it? Did Diddy Did he do it? And it's amazing how, let me start with this. It's amazing how you can find so many black people. You can always find, a black Republican that supports Trump, who knows why. You can always find a black person to kick the back end of another black person who's down. And, and I know people, they pictures of baby oil and all of this stuff, but this is very serious. Oh, excuse me. This is very serious. The Diddy. Let me start with that Diddy. Oh boy. Wendy Williams, my favorite radio personality in the whole wide world, Wendy Williams. I mean, she's not a radio personality anymore. It'd be nice if she came back, especially now. But Wendy Williams was talking about this years ago when she was a radio personality in New York, 107.5 is WBLS. She was a radio personality at that time, and she used to talk about this stuff with like all of these things, Jennifer Lopez, Whitney Houston, and she used to talk about Diddy too. I don't know if he was known by Diddy at that time. Might have been Puffy, because he's had like several different names. And Wendy Williams used to talk about, these same things about Puff Daddy. I think he was called at that time, Puff Daddy. And she used to talk about this stuff. That might have been, I think they got her in trouble when she was on 105.1. And she used to talk about this stuff. And sure enough, here we go. It's coming out, And I'm not one of the people that's giddy with excitement about, because there's a lot of things. I really don't talk about celebrity nonsense on my program. I really don't talk about that kind of stuff. But this is very serious business here, because this man can go to prison for the rest of his life. So you got a bunch of people, black folks in particular, who are, kicking his back in and talking about him, And me personally, I feel kind of sorry for him. I feel kind of sorry for Puffy or Diddy, P. Diddy, whatever. Because, everyone's entitled to bail, especially if you got as much money as he has. Everybody's entitled to bail, And we had 2 judges who decided not to give him bail. He was so dangerous that we couldn't let him out. Even though his phones could be monitored, He can only be allowed to use one phone, and that phone should be monitored by the Department of Justice or whoever. Fine. He be confined to his home. Fine. Make sure he doesn't leave. Because he offered a $50 million, bail, $50 million, and they still turned it down. And I think the man deserves bail. I mean, now you can look at me sideways and say maybe I'm a little bit crazy. And maybe I am a little bit crazy, but I think that the man deserves bail. Because I really don't think he's going to be stupid enough to go out here and do something else to make things even worse. Because, I mean, if it can be made any worse. Because right now it's the charges, trafficking, sex trafficking, and all abuse, all of this stuff that they're saying that he did. And it's, it's kind of crazy with the way this is going down. But I think the man deserves bail. I mean, you can hate me if you want, just 7 minutes past the hour. You can hate me, but I think the man deserves some bail. $50 million, and they still won't let him out. And see, and part of this is, and there's a hint of racism in this. Now, I didn't do everything I was supposed to do in regards to this story. So I don't know if if either one of those judges were black. I have to check into that if one of those judges were black. But I think that Diddy deserves some bail. I really do think that he deserves to get out. Because what's he gonna do? I mean, because you got to look at it this way. He came here from Florida because Diddy doesn't live in New York anymore. He came here from Florida, and he's cooperated. I mean, because he knew that he was going to be arrested. He knew that. So he came up here, and he wanted to turn himself in, but they wouldn't let him turn himself in. Because if he turned himself in, they would have had to give him bail. So they wouldn't allow Diddy to turn himself in. They arrested him instead. Because it's easier to deny bail when you have to arrest somebody rather than them turning themselves in. And he came up here and he was willing to turn himself in. And he tried to turn himself in, but they arrested him instead. And there's I think there's a little bit of, if those two judges are white people, and I'm the last person to say that, people are, calling people racist. I'm the last person to say that, but we have to understand that, the election of Barack Obama didn't end slavery. I mean, I didn't end slavery, didn't end racism. The election of Barack Obama did not end racism. And, we thought, like, when Barack Obama was elected, oh boy, he's the first black president. We got a black family in the White House, a black husband, a black first lady, 2 black kids. And we thought a lot of people fooled themselves into thinking that racism was over. You know what I'm saying? We thought there were a lot of people that thought that racism was done. But I think, there's a little hint of racism in this thing with Diddy. I believe that. There's a little bit of hint of racism in this. I think so. Because, because $50 million, I mean, Diddy was willing to put up $50 million. $50 million is a lot of money. And if he wanted to run, he could have ran already. He could have, as soon as the news broke, he could have ran. And now I'm hearing that there's, and there's some more news I got about Diddy that I'm going to tell you about after the break. But, I think that there's a little hint of racism in this. Because Diddy is young, well, relatively young, black, fabulously wealthy, you know, and just like with the police, you know, when the police go in the academy and they say all the right things, so they take the psych test, they say all the right things. You don't know what the man is thinking. You don't know what the recruit, the candidate is thinking. You know, he could be thinking like, as soon as I get out here, I'm going to bust some Negroes' heads wide open. You don't know what he's thinking until he gets out there and actually does it. You know, and with these judges, I think there's a little bit of hint of racism in this because he hasn't been convicted. And for him to be denied bail makes his case even worse because the jurors who haven't been selected yet, and they're all out there in the public, they know what's going on. They know that Diddy has been denied bail by 2 different judges. They know that what the judges said about the danger of letting Diddy out. So their minds are already tainted by what they've heard already. The minds of the jurors are tainted already. The jurors are potential jurors, the jurors that will be chosen for this from the New York metropolitan area that are going to be chosen for this. So they already know. They you know, shout out to Anthony Moriano, my favorite listener. Yeah. So they already know what they you know, you're not going to find an impartial jury. Not with this one. You know what I'm saying? It's 12 minutes past the hour. I'm going to tell you a few other things we'll talk to you a few other things about Diddy. And in just a few minutes, 12 minutes past the hour. So, yeah, so it's not the most shocking news that I've heard. And I guess I don't usually talk about this kind of stuff unless I want to make a point. And the point I make with Diddy is that there is a little bit of racism going on here. There's a little bit of racism, you know. And when you look back at, you know, and I'm not saying he's right. If he's guilty of what they're saying he's guilty of, he should be convicted. I'm not saying he's right. But, you know, but you look back at, you know, R. Kelly and, you know, you look back at R. Kelly and Bill Cosby, Michael Jackson, you know, some of the other people that were brought down by these type of allegations. And you just gotta wonder, because I'll tell you, Jeffrey Epstein would have destroyed a lot of people. I believe that Jeffrey Epstein would have destroyed a lot of people. You know, when Jeffrey Epstein died, Jeffrey Epstein didn't die. Jeffrey Epstein was killed because if he would have ratted people out, and that's what everybody was afraid of. You had the Prince Andrew, and some of the other people that were hinting about Bill Clinton and some other noteworthy people who were brought up in this thing. And Jeffrey Epstein was killed. Jeffrey Epstein didn't die, or he didn't commit suicide. He was killed because look what happened. You know, they're supposed to check on Jeffrey Epstein every 15 minutes. So why the lapse? Why did they stop checking up on him? I don't understand that. You know, why did they stop checking up on Jeffrey Epstein? They didn't check up on him for an hour. And he's supposed to be getting checked up on every 15 minutes. And as a matter of fact, once they just see, and they wrapped it up in a tight, nice little bow, and they closed the Metropolitan Correctional Center, closed it after the death of Jeffrey Epstein. Now, I'm pretty sure that other people have died there. I'm pretty sure that other inmates have died there who have gotten killed there, who died under suspicious circumstances at the Metropolitan Correctional Center. But once Jeffrey Epstein died, they closed the place. They closed it. So it's not even in operation anymore. Now, what does that tell you? You know, what does that tell you? See, Jeffrey Epstein was killed. And I don't know by who, but there were some people that breathed a big old sigh of relief. They breathed a sigh of relief when they heard that Jeffrey Epstein was dead. Because Jeffrey Epstein would have destroyed a lot of people. Destroyed a lot of people. So, yeah. So, you know, but Diddy was, and it sounds to me like, you know, like I saw the video. Why even show that video? I saw the video of him in the hotel room with his girlfriend at the time, Cassie, whatever her name was. And I saw the video. CNN. Somebody's texting me. CNN. Found that tape. CNN obtained that tape. You know what I'm saying? CNN obtained the tape of Puffy beating his girlfriend, and they're holding that out. This was 8 years ago. See, this is where I question. You know, I'm not about slam dunk justice. This is where I question what happened, because CNN obtained that tape. Nobody even knew about that tape, and CNN obtained the tape of Puffy beating his girlfriend up in the hallway. CNN obtained that tape. You know, because most of us didn't even know that tape existed, but CNN pulled the tape. You know, so you look back at like R. Kelly, you know, Bill Cosby, Michael Jackson, some of the huge names. Bill Cosby was the America's dad. You know, everybody wanted a dad like Bill Cosby at one time, with the Jell-O pudding commercials and all this stuff, and the Cosby Show, which was the #1 show on TV for a long time, because it changed the narrative of good times, because that's what Black people were perceived as, good times. You know, always struggling to pay the rent, can't pay, you know, you're living in the project, struggling to pay the rent, the daddy can't keep a job, and, you know, I mean, at least they left, you know, James Evans in the show for a while, but that was the perception of Black folks until Bill Cosby came along, and, you know, he was a doctor, his wife was a lawyer, and that was the first time that people had saw Black folks in a upper middle class light, because prior to that it was Good Times and South Central, and, you know, some of these other shows, in particular Black people, always struggling to get ahead, struggling to eat, struggling to keep a job, struggling to pay the rent, struggle. That's how it was until some of these other shows came along. Bill Cosby, incidentally, with a family who still had little issues here and there. I mean, the kids weren't perfect, and, you know, but that was the first glimpse into, and at first, for a lot of people, that was their first look at an upper middle class Black family, that they do exist, because for a long time people didn't think they existed. Anyway, I'm going to take a quick break and come back, and I'll tell you a little bit more about Puffy before I move on to Kamala Harris and Trump and the Eat the Cat remix. Have you heard the Eat the Cat remix? I wonder if it's going to make the Billboard Top 100. Anyway, we'll find out when we come back. We'll take a break and we'll come back with more Ron Kelly programming. It's on blogtalkradio.com, the RonKellyShow.com, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Yes, indeed, I am the man. What a news cycle this is. This guy has got to go. Trump has got to go. George Floyd snuffed out by this police officer who's supposed to be serving and protecting people.
It's the Ron Kelly Show.
All right, everybody, we are back. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program, and it's on blogtalkradio.com, the RonKellyShow.com, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? It's September 19th. Beautiful day outside for those of you who live on the East Coast. I know there are people who are watching the Ron Kelly Show that live on the West Coast and other parts of the United States of America, Chicago in particular being one of them. So, yeah, we're still enjoying some decent weather so far, even though it's with the weather, even though September 19th, but the weather usually stays pretty decent until until like around the very end of September, the beginning of October, and that's when it starts to change a little bit. I mean, it's already started to change, but we're still enjoying some 80s. So these last few seconds of the summer, let's enjoy these joints while we still can. Anyway, it's 23 minutes past the hour. The show is brought to you in part by American Port Fuel Transportation. For 40 years, American Port Fuel Transportation has been providing safe, reliable transportation to and from your destination, schools, road trips, casino trips, bus rides, you name it. American Port Fuel can handle it. Just give them a call at 973-753-6423. That's 973-753-6423. Once again, 973-753-6423. Located at 307 Arlington Avenue in the great city of Plainfield, New Jersey. Give them a call, 973-753-6423. You'll be so glad you did it. And also, the views and opinions expressed here are exclusively those of myself and R. Kelly Media Enterprises, LLC, which is the parent company of the Ron Kelly Show, and are not those of my advertisers or my support team or anybody else who listens to my program. Thank you so much for joining me. Okay. So, I talked a little bit about Diddy. I don't usually talk about the celebrity nonsense, but I thought it was important for me to give my opinion about this because this is, there's some suspicious activities going on here behind the scenes in regards to law enforcement. And I'm not, that type of person that suspects something out of everything. But I just think that there's some stuff going on here that needs to be examined. There's some stuff here that needs to be examined right here on the Ron Kelly Show. So, I do. I think there's a little racism in this. Of course. How you little black, Negro, we're going to show you that you never be anything. You'll always be black. You can't hide that. You might be rich, but you're black. You can't hide that. And so as long as you're black, we're going to do you any way we want to do you. And that's the taste that I'm getting from this. Anyway, everybody, it's 26 minutes before the hour, or 26 minutes after the hour, I should say. You're watching the Ron Kelly Show. All right, so 47 days left, 47 days left for the election. And wow, I mean, and for it to be this close, even though Kamala Harris just jumped in the race, for it to be this close is just simply amazing. It's amazing because she just got in, a month or two? I believe there was less than 100 days when she got into the race, and she's neck and neck with Trump, and in some polls, she's leading. But, it's within the margin of error, so, everybody's going to be on the safe side and say it's tied. But for her to even have a chance when her boss, President Joe Biden, had basically really didn't have any chance, And what happened was they threw Trump a loop when Biden stepped down. And you got to give Joe Biden credit for that. Who doesn't want to be the president of the United States of America? It's got to be the roughest job in the world, but they sure make it easy on you, catering into your every need. So you got to give Joe Biden credit for stepping down. You got to give him credit because Who doesn't want to be the president of the United States of America? So you got to give him credit. He stepped down. He says, you know what? I'm going to put the country before me. And he stepped down and supported his vice president, his running mate, his vice president, Kamala Harris. So you got to give him credit for that. I mean, I give all the respect in the world to Joe Biden for being able to do that, for stepping down, for the good of the party and for the good of the people of the United States of America. It was like Trump would have never stepped down, never. And you got to give Biden credit for stepping down. For Kamala Harris, and let me just say this: like the race really starts 2 years ago. The race really starts in 2022. And for Kamala Harris to come in at this late, less than 100 days out from the election and still be in the race and be competitive is amazing. It tells you something, And for people to be, I just don't understand how anybody could be, I don't understand how anybody can support Trump. I don't get it. Trump, has done like the worst things. The average person, look at Diddy. Diddy's in prison for doing the stuff that Trump did. Maybe Trump was kind of old, so he couldn't have the freak outs or the freak offs or whatever they was calling it. But I mean, I don't see how anybody can vote for Trump. He had a rally around here the other day, and as I live in the East, shout out to my people out there in the Midwest and out on the West Coast who listen to the Ron Kelly Show. And wow, he had a rally here in Long Island. You know why he picked Long Island, because Long Island is whiter than white, and not shout out to my white listeners. And he knew that was a safe bet that the place was going to be packed, which it was, because I heard they had 60,000 requests for tickets, but the place only holds 16,000. So there are a lot of people that say, he did well, but he wouldn't have did that in the Bronx, because he had one in the Bronx and hardly anybody showed up. He can't do it in Manhattan, and he lives in Manhattan. That's not to say that there's no Trump supporters nowhere, but you got to be, come on, grab him by the pussy. I can say that on my radio, it's not edited. My radio show is not censored. That's what he said when he went on to Access Hollywood. I grabbed the women by the pussy. They let me do it because I'm famous. And I actually asked somebody on Facebook. I asked him, I said, look, so you would be all right if you met Trump at a rally and he grabbed your wife by the pussy? And he would not say he did mind. He just didn't answer. But that tells me that you don't mind if Trump grabs your wife by the vagina. You don't mind. Because when I posed the question, and this person is a vehement Trump supporter, but when I posed the question, he would not answer. He would not answer. So that lets me know that you're okay. It's all right for Trump to grab your wife by the vagina. It's okay. I'm not going to say his name, but he knows who I'm talking about. And these people, and that's like just ridiculous. I don't care who you are, Barack Obama, whoever, you're not going to touch my wife. I'm not married, but if I was, I wouldn't let you put your hand on my wife. It's just utterly ridiculous. And you have to be, you have to be, I don't know. You have to be ridiculous. Pat Wilder says, hi, Ron. She says, Trump is trying to create a dictatorship. Vice President Harris is on the move. And, okay, you said the word. I'm not sure what word she's talking about. But maybe she's talking about vagina. But anyway, this is my show. But, yeah, you will be all right with your Trump grabbing your wife by the intimate parts. You know. Anyway, everybody, it's just about 27 minutes before the hour. You're listening to, watching the Ron Kelly Show. All across social media spectrum, Facebook, LinkedIn. Shout out to my LinkedIn people who are really engaging with the Ron Kelly Show. LinkedIn is hot for the Ron Kelly Show. I appreciate that, you guys. And whoever, so hopefully some general manager of radio, president of radio station, whatever, give a brother a job and put this show on blast because it deserves to be on blast. So, so have you heard the Trump remix of the Eat the Cat? Have you heard it? I've heard it, and I like it. Maybe get a Grammy, who knows? But there's a Trump Eat the Cat, because Trump. Now Trump's saying that, and I'm surprised on the. I know some Haitian people. They're not even commenting about it. But Trump's saying eat the cat. That these people eat cats and dogs. They eat the pets of the people who live there, and I'm just astonished by that. But it's not, But Trump says stuff, so you have to. It's not even shocking anymore, the things that Trump says. It's not even shocking. It's not, because he says stuff, and this is way out there. But yeah, he says that the Haitian immigrants are eating the pets of the people who live in Springfield, Ohio. Now you got the Proud Boys up there. You got bomb threats. And why is somebody bomb threatening a school over that? Pat Wilder says Trump gets way too much airtime. Well, yeah. It's all, Trump is the gift that keeps on giving. You don't have to work as hard because, you got Trump's going to be on there. When you're putting together a newscast, you got Trump. You can talk about Trump for your whole newscast and not repeat yourself. That's the thing with Trump. But somebody, when Trump said eat the cat, somebody edited it and they made a song out of it. They made a song, Eat the Cat remix. I don't know if you guys have heard it, but this is hilarious. I've heard it a couple of times. And as a matter of fact, there's a video on TikTok about Eat the Cat. And you see the cats dancing around and the dog looking like, like, what? Eat the dogs. And this is what Trump said about the Haitian folks, and who most of are not illegal aliens. Many of the folks who live in that town in Springfield, Ohio, the Haitians, the migrants, have papers. They came through legally. They came through the right way. But Trump wants to have the biggest excommunication in the history of America. He wants to have the biggest, round them up, and send them back to the country where they came from. That's what he's talking about. See, Trump is playing on the fears of many of the middle age to senior white folks. He's playing to their fears, because those are the people who really believe that the country is going down, that Trump, that the migrants are going to take over. Those are the people who believe it. The people out west, the farmers and the folks, because most of Trump's people don't have a college education, and not to kick anybody's back in. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of people who listen to my show who don't have a college education. But those are the people. The Trump appeals to those type of people because they're easy to convince. They're easy to convince of things. They're easy to be convinced of, some of the stuff. It's easy it's easy to convince them of these things. So most of the people are, um, you know, and I mean, what he said about the migrants, what he said about the Haitians is insulting. It is insulting to say that those people are up there eating dogs and cats. Now, they might do that in Haiti. Maybe Haiti's the poorest country in the world, in the Western Hemisphere. So maybe they are cooking dogs and cats over there. They ain't got no other choice. But they're not, if they come to America, they're not doing that here. Wilder says, he says some of the most ridiculous things, and we keep it in the news. Like every news channel is talking about the latest insult. Yeah, because Trump makes it easy on a news director. Because he always does something, He makes it easy. I mean, I don't talk about Trump that much. He doesn't make it easy for me, but he makes it easy for a news director because, you can always count on him to say something totally ridiculous, and you can just toss it on the air. You don't even have to really produce that hard. You have to produce when it comes to other things, but you don't have to produce really that much when it comes to Trump because he's going to say something stupid, and you just put it on the air, and you just put it on the air, and he's the gift that keeps on giving. Now, I don't talk about Trump that much, so he doesn't help me, but So we got some surprising new poll numbers. I'll get to that in just a minute when we come back. But for right now, it's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program, and it's on blogtalkradio.com, the RonKellyShow.com, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. We'll be back in a moment. Yes, indeed, I am the man. What a news cycle this is. This guy has got to go. Trump has got to go. George Floyd snuffed out by this police officer who's supposed to be serving and protecting people.
It's the Ron Kelly Show.
Okay, we're back 20 minutes before the hour, 19 minutes before the hour. It's the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program, and it's on live on Facebook, I believe, and LinkedIn, and YouTube, the Ron Kelly Show YouTube channel. It's not, you really have to keep fires burning as far as like what you want to do, like with this radio stuff, because, there's things that I don't have a million listeners and I'm not famous or anything like that. And, and I just want to shout out to the people who have been on my radio program, starting with Cindy Hunt, way back in the day, Maxine Baker, Cindy Hunt, Maxine Baker, Karen Baker, Andre McCullum, Reverend Mike McDuffie, some of the people who have been on the radio program, Dr. Susanna Flores, some of the people who have been on the Ron Kelly Talk Radio program, the former mayor of Irvington, God, I can't think of his name right now. He used to be the mayor of Irvington, was on a program. We did a program on WSOU's Seton Hall University Radio. We used to do a program there. I mean, I've been all over the place. I guess it's kind of like a video thing, but I was a intern at WWRL before they went belly up. I was an intern there. I used to go to Queens every Saturday And I sat in the studio with a girl named Envy. That was her radio name, Envy. And I sat on the radio with her. And I learned a lot there. I did a program at WVOX, way upstate New York, New City, I believe it was, WVOX AM. That's where I interviewed recently deceased Congressman Bill Pascrell. So I got a long list, and if I put a resume together, it would probably be about 2 or 3 pages of all the places I've been, all the work that I've done. WNSR, 1460 AM. I mean, I've been a lot of places, striving for to try to make it in this radio business. And, and I'm very certain that at some point, this radio show is going to go national. I'm very certain of that. And, you got to keep the fires burning, man. I'll tell anybody who said, whatever it is you're trying to do, trying to start a business, trying to, whatever it is, you just got to keep it going. Because a lot of days I don't want to do this. Some days I think like, man, what am I doing this for? Nobody's listening. I even stopped doing radio for a while because I allowed my fears to get the best of me. So I stopped doing radio for a while because I was so despondent. I've been to radio conventions. I went to the twice the Rock the Mic Urban Radio Conference in Miami. I was there twice. And I met Michael Baisden and some of these other people. Steve Harvey was there one year. So I went down and I flew down to Florida, great expense. I forget what year it was, but I flew down to Florida for the Rock the Mic convention. They had seminars and I learned a lot, took a lot of notes, learned a lot. I had a great time. That's where I met Al Shaw. Al Shaw, The Voice. Al Shaw does radio program in Miami on weekends. Does weekends 10 to 2, I believe it is. Al Shaw. Look him up. Met him down there, and some other people who were trying to strive to get a radio job. So it was interesting. And like I said, I flew down to Miami, great expense. I stayed at the Fontainebleau. Yeah, I was of course to stay at the Fontainebleau at night. It was about $300 plus to stay at the Fontainebleau at night. But it's funny, I wasn't feeling good though. One time I went, I wasn't feeling that well, and I missed all the stuff that was going on the second night. I don't know if it was, I was air sick or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, everybody, it's that's just a little bit about me. And like I said, for anybody, whatever it is you're trying to do, whatever it is you're striving to do, just stay at it. Take it from me, stay at it, because I've quit, said I was going to quit many times, but I wound up back here because I really love doing this type of work. And I know that, the good Lord is going to bless me with a radio gig. Because you got to be on the radio to say that you can be on the radio, or to try to get on the radio, you got to be on the radio so people can check out your program, check out what you do, and they can make a decision from there about whether they think you can make it or not. Anyway, it's 14 minutes before the hour. It's a Ron Kelly Talk Radio program. So so surprising new numbers. Kamala Harris is ahead. But only within the margin of error. Thank you, Patricia Wilder, for checking in with me here on the Ron Kelly show, and thank you for being a participant. Patricia Wilder co-hosted with me briefly here on the program, and like I said, shout out to all the people Karen Baker, Maxine Baker, uh, Cindy Hunt, who was my first co-host, Cindy Hunt, Mike McDuffie, Andre McCullum, um, and all the people who co-hosted with me on the show. Some of them I picked, and I learned how to pick co-hosts over the years too. I learned how to pick them. But anyway, I still make mistakes, but we move on. So the surprising new numbers that Kamala Harris is ahead of Trump in a lot of these battleground states. But I'm afraid that if Trump loses, I'm afraid of what's going to happen. Because you had the Proud Boys. You had the Proud Boys in Springfield, Ohio, where allegedly the Haitian migrants are eating dogs and cats. And check out the eating the dogs, eating the cats video remix. I'm not sure who that is. Oh, there's a cat. Somebody's got a cat. Clone Wars 9 has a cat. So they're eating the dogs and they're eating the cats. But if you hear the video, watch the video of the cats. It's ridiculous. It's funny. This is somebody coming in from YouTube. Hey, there's a YouTube listener. Clone Wars 9. I'm not sure who that is, but appreciate you. Appreciate your indulgence here on the Ron Kelly Show. It's 11 minutes before the hour. Yeah, he says that the Haitians are eating the dogs and eating the cats. And see, and already the people who started that are already saying that it's not true. The lady who started that has gone on the record and says it's not true. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I saw that video. You know what? I looked at that video. Let me revert to this. I looked at that video. I'm still looking at that video. And the first few times I watched it, I cracked up. It was so funny because you had that dog with the look on his face like he's about to die. And it is just hilarious. Yeah, it's so funny. It is so funny. I thought it was hilarious. And that's going to be on the Billboard Top 100, I think. Eating the Cats by Donald Trump. Eating the dogs. Eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. It is so. Y'all check that out. You guys check that out. You can see it on TikTok. Go on TikTok, and you just scroll around. You'll find it. Eating the dogs. Eating the cats. It is hilarious. I'm sitting at the cigar bar where I usually go and smoke my cigar, and people are looking at me, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like cracking up, ready to cry, laughing, and people are looking at me, and I was telling them, I said, yeah, I'm looking at this video, the cat eating the cat video, and it is hilarious. I wish I would have thought of it 9 minutes before the hour. Yeah, it is so funny. So check it out. I saw it on YouTube. I saw it on link. I saw it on TikTok. Now I don't know where else it is, but I saw it on TikTok. It's probably on YouTube somewhere. But YouTube is so much easier to find stuff on TikTok than it is on YouTube. Anyway, everybody, it's 9 minutes before the hour. So Kamala Harris is doing her thing, and and I'm not the biggest Kamala Harris fan. I'm not the biggest Trump fan either. But you got to vote for somebody. People got beat up for me to have the privilege of voting. People got stomped on and got high pressure water hoses and dogs sicked on them and stuff like that in order to vote. So I can't just sit back and not vote because people fought and people died for me to have the right to vote. So I can't just do that. Clone Wars says here. Oh, he's okay. He's from Clone Wars. He's here. Clone Wars 9 is here. He's watching the show in the European Union. Oh, okay. All right. He says here in the EU, even most right wing people don't like Donald Trump. Yeah, because Donald Trump is the extreme right wing. He's the extreme right wing. And listen, tell all you people over there in EU, yeah, I checked out this guy in America, the Ron Kelly talk radio program, who don't subscribe to the nonsense. But even the right wing. But you know who likes him? The president of Hungary. What country is that? There's a country over there that Trump always references, and he loves. Trump loves strong men. Kim Jong Un, Putin, and these guys, because if Trump wins, see, because Trump never really supported NATO. Viktor Orban. Yeah, he's a creep. Viktor Orban. He's worse than Putin. Viktor Orban, worse than Putin. And Trump references this guy all the time. See, he likes these guys. In one of his speeches, he said, you don't have to vote for me and you don't have to vote anymore. So what does that mean? Trump said that. He said, vote for me and you won't have to vote anymore. So what that means is that he's going to make it so, that he's like the president for life, like Putin or Viktor Orban, the president of Venezuela, Kim Jong Un, whose grandfather was the leader of North Korea. Then the father took over. Then the father died. Now he's the son. Now, I don't know if Kim Jong Un has any kids, but his son, if he has a kid, or if he doesn't ever have any kids, his sister will take over as the president of North Korea. And these are the people that Trump admires: Putin, Orban, Kim Jong-un, the president of Venezuela. I can't think of his name right now. These are the people that Trump likes. And like I said, he said, and I heard it very clearly, and I went to the tape, the video, and I watched the video, and he said, vote for me this year and you won't have to vote anymore. That's what he said. That's what he said. Vote for me and you don't have to vote anymore. That's what Trump said. You don't have to vote for me anymore. No, you don't have to vote anymore. So what does that tell you? I mean, to me, it means you're not going to have to vote. He's going to be the priest, going to install himself. He's 78 years old. Hopefully, if he does do it, we won't have to suffer with him much longer. But yeah. He said you don't have to vote anymore. So that tells me that your plan is to make sure that that there are no more elections. You want to make sure there's no more elections. 4.5 minutes before the hour. So thank you to the people overseas who are checking out the Ron Kelly Show. Appreciate you very much. YouTube is a broad and like the Ron Kelly Show, or you can subscribe to the Ron Kelly Show on YouTube. Doesn't cost you anything. Just press the button. Would be much appreciated if you subscribe to the Ron Kelly Show on YouTube. All we need is 1 million subscribers, and I can start getting paid from. I can start getting paid on YouTube. Clone Wars 9. If he's president, then he's just a puppet of the people bribing him. And see, Trump has money, though. If you're talking about Trump, he doesn't need a bribe, but he does need. But he can use money to help him pay his lawyer's fees, and money to help him pay, his expenses for the election. you know. But he admires these people. He doesn't talk about JFK or Roosevelt. He doesn't talk about those people. He talks about people who kill people. Putin, Herb Orban, Kim Jong Un, those people over there are scared to death. You know, you say something about Kim Jong Un, you're dead. It's not even a question. You're dead. So you can talk about the president over here in America, and nobody can't hurt you. But you talk about Kim Jong Un, you talk about Putin. Look at Navalny. Navalny tried to run against Putin. What happened to him? He's dead. You think that Putin didn't have nothing to do with that? Of course he did. Of course Putin did. Navalny would have been the president of Russia. Navalny. CNN did a program on him, Navalny. Now he's dead. And you think Trump didn't have, not Trump, but if you think that Putin didn't have anything to do with Navalny being killed, then you need to put the bottle down. Because I'm 100% sure that Putin had something to do with Navalny getting killed. Because Navalny was his biggest competition. And over there, they kill the competition. They don't run against you. It's not like here in America where you can run against a person. No, you're dead. So Navalny, miraculously he had the courage to fearlessly run against Putin. And what happened? He's dead. From what Nano says, maybe not with money, but with deals to help him become president. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That and the money, because he doesn't want to spend his own money on lawyers' fees. He doesn't want to spend his own money on the election, which he could do. But he's got that $500 million bond that he had to put up for his conviction for phony tax returns and that kind of stuff. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for joining Clone Wars 9. Thank you so much for joining me. Subscribe to the Ron Kelly Show. Tell all your friends. Tell everybody in Europe, that they can check me out right here on the Ron Kelly Show. So until next week at 7 p.m., I like to say that it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice, and that we may not have it all together, everybody, but together we can have it all. Thank you so much for listening, and I